welcome back to On the Fly. Today we got a trade between the Chicago Blackhawks, New York Rangers, and Arizona Coyotes. So the Blackhawks do receive a 2023 second round pick with a condition where it can become a first round pick if the New York Rangers win or at least make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. If they win 2 playoff series, is how they worded it, then it'll turn that 2023 second will turn into either a 2024 first round pick or a 2025 first round pick, depending on what Chicago or New York wants. The terms of that hasn't quite been announced. However, it'll be one of those 2 picks. The Blackhawks also receive a 2023 fourth round pick. So for Patrick Kane, at 75% retained, 50% comes from the Blackhawks, the other 25% comes from the Arizona Coyotes, who received a 2025 third round pick in exchange for this. So when we look at this deal, it is, of course, the end of an era. When we have in Chicago, you think about Chicago, you think about probably 2 players, Patrick Kane, Jonathan Toews. So Kane moves on to New York, and this is one of those, we saw it before with sort of that Taylor Hall situation where Hall waits it out, and all of a sudden there's only one team left on his trade list, and that ended up being Boston. But for this one, it was the Rangers, so the Rangers sort of could hold Chicago hostage in that sense. He wasn't going back to Chicago. So instead, the Rangers say, if you want anything for it, you can have a second round pick, you can have a fourth round pick, and that was that. And it's a complete underpay, ridiculous underpay to say the least, for a player of Kane's stature. Yes, not quite the same Patrick Kane from 3, 4, 5 years ago, but he's still Patrick Kane. He's still going to play well. I look forward to seeing where New York sticks him. I sort of see him on, you could argue, the first, second line. Now with Tarasenko too. The Rangers have got way, way better this year, and I'm very, at least curious to see what they want to do with Patrick Kane. Obviously, there's a lot of different spots they can put him. First, second line will probably where he'll sit. Could even put him on the third line, play with the younger guys. It's going to be very interesting to see sort of what they want to do with him. I expect him to play alongside Panarin. Now, what else happens there, still yet to be seen. But there's a lot of players that can sort of fill Kane's role. You can go up and down the lineup. I'm curious to see where they're going to stick a guy like Kane. But it's very, very interesting to me, the fact that Patrick Kane, yes, it's been rumored, everyone knows it was coming. But at the same time, this trade, the way it went down is quite unfortunate for the Blackhawks. They would not have done it sooner. Obviously, the no trade clause in Kane's contract was a big, big issue for them. But at the same time, any value is good value for the Blackhawks. You can take it in that way. But at the same time, you're losing a guy like Patrick Kane for really second. You could argue a first. I think the Rangers have a pretty decent shot this year to make it to that Eastern Conference Finals. So you could argue it's a first round pick and a fourth for a guy like Patrick Kane who's going to be a rental. But at the same time, when you're looking at a status of Kane, we saw the package for Meyer the other day. And if we're looking at sheer talent, obviously they're both sort of rentals. Meyer has the RFA status, while Kane has the UFA, so there's no control there. But at the same time, Kane's already shown a willingness to stay in New York, so there could have been that much more of a negotiating chip. So this is quite interesting at the end of the day to see sort of what Kane does. I expect him to re-sign in New York. I don't really see him coming back to Chicago after this whole debacle. But at the same time, very interesting deal. We'll jump to the trade grades here. For the Chicago Blackhawks, I'm going to give them a big D+. The way they handled this situation was awful. Yes, they got some good value in terms of for nothing, really, with Kane isn't coming back. But at the same time, you do this trade, 3, 4 months ago, your trade value, the amount of money you're going to get back for a guy like Kane, the value is just, you're probably looking at least 2, if not 3 picks. Like I said, the no trade clause obviously messes that up a little bit. But you could have got a lot more for really just trading him that much sooner. You knew you weren't going to contend this year. Unfortunate situation for the Blackhawks. They get a D+. For the New York Rangers, you get an A+. Way to go. You just scammed the Blackhawks out of a probably top 15 player for really just a first round pick. If you can even argue that second, fourth round pick. Great deal for the New York Rangers. And lastly, of course, we'll throw the last one. When you retain roughly 2.5, you get a third round pick out of it. Never a bad idea. Coyotes also get an A+ in this deal. You'll always give teams that retain salary for nothing an A+. So with that being said, quite an interesting trade today. Curious to see what else Chicago does, if anything. Rangers seem to be done. I don't see them making any more moves. There might be 1 or 2 cap moves, but at the same time, Rangers look pretty good right now. Definitely poised after this deadline to make some serious impact, especially when it comes to the Eastern Conference playoffs this year. If you made it this far in the video, thank you for watching. If you'd like to drop a like, if you really like to consider subscribing, tell all your friends and comment down below your thoughts on the trade. Until next time, see you.